Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to crochet this very beautiful knit look beanie. So if you're someone that doesn't like the bunching on the normal crochet beanie, this tutorial is perfect for you. Not only is this super stretchy, but it is very easy to work up. And I'm going to walk you guys through the easy steps of making your own beanie. Now let's get into the tutorial. For materials, I'll be making use of a 5-ply milk cotton yarn. This is a medium weight yarn, but you can make use of any yarn you have available. Just make sure you get your measurements right. A 6mm hook, darning needle and stitch marker. So this stitch marker is optional. It's only necessary if you're an absolute beginner. Measuring tape and scissors. So to start up our beanie, we're going to start by making a slip knot. And once you've made your slip knot, you're going to make a total number of chains that measures up to 15 inches. So I'm done with mine. I did a total of 44 chains. Yours might vary depending on your tension and the weight of yarn that you're using for your project. So once you're done with your desired number of chains, you're going to chain one extra, and this chain will not count as a stitch. Now skip this chain and go into the next chain with a slip stitch. So to make a slip stitch, insert your hook into the chain, yarn over and pull through. Now you should have 2 loops on your hook. Now pull the second loop into the first loop. So from here onwards, you're going to make 1 slip stitch into each of the chains. So I've worked till I got to my very last chain here. Now let's finish up row 1. Now for row 2, chain up 1 and turn your work. And from row 2 till we finish off this beanie, we're going to be working only in the back loop. So the back loop is the side of this V on top that's not facing you directly. Now you're going to skip this chain 1 that you just made and go into the next stitch with a slip stitch. Remember to place your hook in the back loop only. And from here onwards, you're going to place 1 slip stitch in the back loop of each stitch till you have 2 stitches remaining from the previous row. So I've worked till I have 3 stitches from my previous row remaining. So I'm going to place my last stitch into the back loop. Now for row 3, chain up 1 and turn your work. You're going to skip the chain 1 that you just made and go into the back loop of the next stitch with a slip stitch. And from here onwards, we're going to make 1 slip stitch into each of the stitches from the previous row till we get to the very last stitch. So I've worked till I got to the very last stitch from the previous row. Now place a slip stitch into the back loop of the last stitch. For row 4, chain up 1 and turn your work. From here onwards, we're going to repeat row 2 and row 3 till we get to row 11. Skip the chain 1 you just made and go into the back loop of the very first stitch with a slip stitch. Now you're going to make 1 slip stitch in each of the stitches till you have 2 stitches remaining from the previous row. So for row 5, chain up 1 and turn your work. And now we're going to make 1 slip stitch in the back loop only of each stitch from the previous row. So we get to the very last stitch here. So I've worked till I got to my very last stitch here, and I'm going to place my last slip stitch for this row. So guys, I'm done with my 11 rows, and now we're going to work on joining the edges on the sides together. So now for row 12, and you're going to turn your work and would make 1 slip stitch into the back loop only till we get to the very last stitch for this row. I've worked till I got to my very last stitch from the previous row. So I'm going to insert my last slip stitch in the back loop. So now we're going to do something very easy but a bit different. Turn your work and you will notice that there's like a pointy stitch here at the side of the last stitch on the previous row. So use your hand to tug at that stitch. Now you're going to insert your hook into that stitch and into the back loop of the next stitch from the previous row. Yarn over and pull through all of the loops on your hook. And go into the back loop of the next stitch with your slip stitch like normal. And we're going to repeat what we did here. Look for the bump at the side of your next stitch and use your hand to tug at that a bit. Insert your hook, and you're going to insert your hook into the back loop of the next stitch. Then yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. into the next stitch, make your slip stitch like normal in the back loop. So we're going to repeat this process till we get to the very last stitch here. Remember, we're trying to join everything together. I've worked till I got to the very last row that I would need to attach. I'm just going to repeat the process. Now into the very last stitch for this row, I'll place my last slip stitch in the back loop. And that's it for row 12. So from here onwards, repeat from row 1 to row 12 7 more times. In total, we should have 8 sets of this made. So it's really easy. You can go back to the video and watch how we made each of these rows. So for clarity, if you don't know how to start up your row 1 repeats, just chain up 1 and turn your work. And remember, our row 1 repeats is 1 slip stitch in the back loop of each stitch. So you just go into the next stitch and you make your slip stitch. Then you repeat till you get to the end of the row, and you continue your row repeats till you have 8 sets made. So I'm done with my 8 set repeats. This is how it looks, and this stitch is super stretchy, so don't worry about the size. It's going to fit your head properly. Now to finish up, I'm going to make my row 1 repeat. So guys, I'm done with my row 1 repeat. Now we're going to go ahead and attach the sides of our beanie together. To make my work a bit easier, I'm going to chain up 1 and fasten this off. And now we can now start attaching the sides together. It's very important that you place the side that has your foundation stitch on top. So the side that looks like this, and the side that has your normal rows at the bottom. And we're going to be working in the back loop of our foundation stitch. So instead of going into stitch like this, we would work in the back loop. So this is the back loop. So insert your hook into the back loop of your first foundation chain. So this is mine. And insert your hook into the back loop of the opposite stitch on the other side. So this is my last stitch here. And attach your yarn. So you can tie it to secure. So now go back into both stitches that you just inserted your hook into. And you're going to yarn over and chain up 1. So I'm going to be downsizing my hook to make this process much easier. I've decided to downsize to a 4mm hook. So now go into the back loop of the next stitch. It might look a bit small. And into the back loop of the opposite stitch on the other side. You're going to make a slip stitch. So now into the next stitch on the foundation stitch part, insert your hook into the back loop. And into the next stitch on this side, you insert your hook into the back loop and you make a slip stitch. So you're going to repeat this process till you get to the very last stitch here. So now once you're done, chin up one, and you're going to leave a very long tail that you'd use to attach the top of your beanie. Going with your darning needle, pass the long tail that you left into the darning needle. So from here onwards, we'll be passing our darning needle into the top of our beanie, like so. I've done mine round, so I'm just going to tug on this tightly to close up the space. And to secure, we'll still need to kind of sew this randomly. Once you're okay with how this looks on top, you can now tie. So our beanie is now ready. Go ahead and hide your loose ends and flip your work to the front. Now we're done with the tutorial. Your beanie is now ready for you to slay. If you've watched this video to this point, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you eventually get to make this beanie, I'd like to see pictures of your work. Please send it to me through any of my social media platforms. The link is in the description box below. For now, bye and see you guys in another tutorial.